In this lecture and in next couple of lectures, we are going to learn about another important concept related to route parameters, which is route constraint. Using the route constraints, we can define some rules for the route parameter. And one of the rules which we can define is to specify the type of value which we want to receive for that route parameter. Let's understand this with an example. Currently in our ASP.NET Core application, we are defining two routes. This one is the first route which we have defined, and this is the second route which we are defining. Now in the first route, we are also specifying a route parameter called ID. And for now, let me go ahead and let me make it a mandatory route parameter. Okay, so I have removed that question mark. So now this ID route parameter is no more an optional route parameter. Now, if I run this application in the browser, and here if I type the URL as /products/ and then let's specify some ID value. So let's say 101. If I press enter, this 101 will be assigned to this ID route parameter here. Okay, but if I go back to the browser and here, instead of specifying an integer value, if I go ahead and if I specify some string value, let's say hello, and then if I press enter, in that case, this hello will be assigned to this ID route parameter. Okay, then what we are doing is we are reading that value, that string hello, we are assigning it to this ID variable, and then we are checking if ID is null. Here, ID is not null. And inside this if statement, we are trying to convert that string hello to an integer value. And since the string value hello cannot be converted into an integer value, that's why we have this unhandled exception here. But if I go back to Visual Studio, and there, let me remove this conversion, or I will comment it here. Okay, let's do the hot reload. And let's go back to the browser. And now you will see that when I'm specifying the string value hello, here in the message we can see this is product with ID hello. So currently we can go ahead and we can assign any type of value to this ID parameter. But for this ID parameter, we only want to receive integer values. We don't want to receive any other type of value like string value. For that, what we can do is we can define a constraint for this ID parameter. And to define a constraint, all we have to do is we have to use a colon and then we can specify the constraint. Currently, I want to set a type for this ID route parameter. And I can go ahead and I can do that by specifying the type of value which I want to receive for this route parameter. Here, I want to receive values of type integer. So I can specify int here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart this application. And here, for some reason, we have an unhandled exception. And this unhandled exception is because I think I have put a space between the route parameter colon and then the type which I want to specify. So here you see we have a space. So you should not have a space between the route parameter colon and the data type. Let me go ahead and let me remove this space from here. And let's restart this application again. And now you can see that unhandled exception is gone. Now let's go ahead and let's type the path. So it is products/ and if I type an integer value, let's say 123, and if I press enter, so it is working as expected. Okay, but if I go ahead and instead of integer value, if I type some string, maybe hello, and if I press enter, you see we have this message, welcome to ASP.NET Core app. And this response is coming from the default route, the route which we are defining using this run method. So in that case, when we specified a string value for this ID route parameter, instead of executing this route handler function, this endpoint, it has executed the default endpoint, the default route handler function or the default middleware function. So let me quickly explain how the route constraint actually works. So here we have a simple flow diagram to explain how a route constraint works. When a new request hits the server, hits the ASP.NET Core application, the use routing middleware checks the URL, and in there it checks if we have defined any route parameter for a given route. And for that route, if the constraint matches, in that case, the endpoint related to that particular route will be executed. But if the constraint does not match, in that case, the use routing middleware will check for the next route. It will check whether the constraint specified in the URL, if it matches the next route. If not, it will check the next route, and so on. But if no route matches the route pattern in the URL or the constraint defined on that route pattern, in that case, the default middleware or the default endpoint will be executed. Okay. So here, for this URL, this /product/hello, this hello is a string value. And if I go to Visual Studio, there we are defining some routes. Let me stop the application here. So here we are defining some routes. We are defining two routes. And in none of these two routes, the route pattern matches /products/a string value. Because if you see, this ID is expecting an integer value. It is not expecting a string value. So none of these two routes matches that route pattern, that URL pattern. Because of that, this default middleware function, this default endpoint gets executed. I hope it makes sense. All right, now here also in the second route which we are defining here we want this author name to be a string value. Okay, so let me remove this default value from this author name here. And here I want to specify that for the author name, I only want to receive the text value. So for that, here we can specify the data type as alpha. Now, some of you might ask that here, since we have specified the data type as integer, we are anyway going to receive an integer value for this ID parameter. So do we actually need to convert it first to integer value before using it? For example, if I uncomment this line, do we really need this line? Because for this ID route parameter, we are anyway going to receive an integer value, right? Well, here we do need to convert it to integer type because we are going to read the value of this ID parameter using route values. This route values is a dictionary and it is going to return an object. And we need to convert that object to the proper data type. So that's why this conversion is required. Okay. Now here we are specifying the type for this author name route parameter as alpha. So now for this author name route parameter, we should only receive a text value. We should not receive a numeric value or a alphanumeric value or anything like that. Let's actually test that. So let's go ahead and run this application again. And here, let's type root URL /books/author/maybe John Smith and /the book ID, let's say 101. If I press enter, you see here also the default route is getting executed because in the author name, we have a special character called hyphen. If I remove this hyphen from here, and now if I go ahead and if I press enter, in that case, we are seeing this response. This is the book authored by John Smith and book ID is 101. So in this case, this middleware function, this endpoint is getting executed. But if we include a hyphen there, in that case, it is not a text value. It has a special character in it. So that's why in that case, this default middleware function was called. This default endpoint was executed. Now, keep in mind that you cannot use any data type which is available in C# for the route parameter. For example, here you can use int and long, but you cannot use short. Here you can also use bool, you can use double, decimal, etc. So let's actually see what are the data types which we can use for the route parameter. So if you go to this documentation, there you can find a section called route constraints. And there you can find all the data types which you can use for a given route. So we can use int, bool, datetime, decimal, double, float, GUID, long, and then we have other route constraints as well. But these are the data types which you can use on a route parameter. And here if you see, we also have a data type called datetime, which we can use on a route parameter. So for a route parameter, if we only want to receive date and time, for that we can specify this data type. Alright, so this is all from this lecture. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.